Welcome to Destination Dive. I'm Jennifer Gray. Watch the news and you can't help but hear about climate change and the state of our oceans. But not all the news is bad. In fact, there are hopeful signs of renewal. Volunteers and citizen scientists are a huge part of this recovery. Corals. We know how fragile they are. Now imagine boaters dragging their anchors across them. The damage caused is unthinkable. There's a special group aiming to prevent this devastation with just a few tools, brushes, and some brawn. Meet the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary's buoy team. Dedicated staff and volunteers who spend their spare time maintaining buoys off the coast of Key Largo. It may not be a glamorous job, but this work is vital to the health of our coral reefs.
They began protecting them back in the early 90s by putting these mooring buoys out at the different reef sites that the boaters are most likely to frequent. And over time, what that's done is allowed people to visit, but not left them with the necessity of having to drop their anchor.
The whole purpose of the mooring project with the surface buoys is to protect the coral reef so that nobody has to throw an anchor. Anchors cause damage.
In decades gone by, there wasn't a really full understanding by the broader community, very well-meaning community, about the negative impacts of simple little things like standing on a coral reef, touching coral, taking coral, where to anchor, where not to anchor.
At any given time, there might be hundreds of boaters enjoying the pristine waters and abundant sea life off Key Largo. With about 600 mooring buoys dotting the Florida Keys coast, vessels can tie up instead of dropping an anchor. But like anything placed in water, buoy lines have about a 3 to 5 year lifespan before they're encrusted with marine life and weighted down.
And the biofoul makes a lot of where the buoy is heavier, so then it's important to make sure that they're getting cleaned often. Then we go into something that's called a downline change-out cycle.
Cleaning those lines and maintaining buoys takes commitment, and that's where people like Brady, Brittany, and Terry come in. They put in some long hours.
The purpose of the buoys, I feel, gets underrated. The ecosystem here is very unique. We have the coral out there. We have so many boaters coming from all over, from the mainland, just coming out to use and see the reef. And so we want to make sure that the reef isn't getting in danger.
And that involves anything from splicing lines, creating lines, from building the tackle for the buoys, to cleaning the buoys, preparing the buoys to be put out.
Terry is a Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary volunteer, and it's people like him who keep programs like this going.
So we're so thankful to Terry that he comes out here and it doesn't stand down a mission when we're trying to get an appropriate amount of people going out.
It's very rewarding. The best thing about volunteering for buoys is the whole aspect of purpose. It's very important to have purpose, and I'm noticing that more as I get older too. I can go out, I can work with the NOAA program. They treat me just as though I'm a regular staffer.
While it's hard work, they say it's worth it.
At the end of the day, you just see them all clean with bright yellow pickup lines, so it's definitely rewarding to see such a quick turnaround.
While we're doing it, we also have the added satisfaction of feeling like we're serving a purpose and doing our part to protect the marine environment that we all love and cherish.
I've been doing it for 30 plus years now, and yes, I know the field of buoys quite well, and I do enjoy it.
I definitely feel that these little 18-inch buoys are little heroes that people take for granted. I feel many of the times in the service industry, people take for granted until they actually need it. And then if it's not there, then they're like, whoa, what happened to my buoy?
Want to become a sanctuary volunteer? At the end of the program, we'll show you how. A vacation with a purpose. It's the latest travel trend called voluntourism. These trips are designed to mix pleasure with making a difference. Visitors flock to Islamorada each year, enjoying the sea life and water sports. And more, they're committing to conservation efforts while enjoying the sun and surf.
You ready? Big stride.
For the Glidey family, Evan and Peyton have made Islamorada their vacation spot for years.
I love diving with my family, and my brother just got certified, and I'm super excited that he gets to join us now because now we can enjoy it more as a family.
Known as the sport fishing capital of the world, Islamorada has also been named one of the 17 most romantic destinations in the U.S. by datingadvice.com. But to keep this precious area pristine takes effort.
All life comes from the ocean, essentially. Whether you live by the sea or not, it affects everybody. And marine debris is a growing and ongoing problem. So it's really up to divers to try to do something about it. So we have a very special and unique opportunity to really make a difference.
We're really trying to engage people, trying to develop a sense of ownership of the reef, not I'm a scientist and I'll fix the problem, but we're all in this together. This is our reef and we're going to fix it together.
Eco-tourists wanting to make a difference while enjoying a great vacation can do anything from coral restoration to collecting marine debris. But before the work begins, training takes place, like this one on coral restoration, hosted by iCare.
So first we start off in a classroom session, kind of teaching you about marine debris, how it's getting there, the problems that it's causing, and what can be done about it. Then we're able to go out and go onto the reefs and actually see that problem firsthand.
And even the smallest amount of debris can cause problems. And for the Glideys, it's their love for animals and the environment that keeps them coming back to Islamorada. Kids like Peyton feel a sense of urgency.
It's important to connect in some way to your environment so you don't completely disconnect from nature, I guess. But it's really important because the oceans give us a lot. And so it's important that we take care of it. It's just terrible. It can only really get worse. It can get worse if we don't try to make it better, The environment is just something that we sometimes take for granted, and I find it really important that sometimes we just give back a little.
And that little bit can go a long way.
A little eventually can lead to a long way, and it's about, being inspired, and a little one dive, and you do it a little the next dive, a little the next dive, and eventually it ends up being a lot more than just a little.
It's extremely rewarding. You get a real kick from it every time you do it. It's very exciting especially when you get a big haul. You get back to the surface and everyone's smiling, everybody's happy.
I hope I did at least a little bit, and if not, then I will be able to hopefully influence others through the story of doing it. I think it's just a really amazing experience that you don't want to miss in your lifetime.
Want to become a volunteer? At the end of the program, we'll show you how. Scientists say it took decades to get us in the environmental predicament we're in, and it's going to take the next generation to get us out of it. Big Pine Key and Marathon offer two innovative ways for children and young adults to be exposed and get involved. "12-year-old Evan is one lucky guy. He and his mom Laura are spending the afternoon at the Florida Keys Aquarium Encounters, located in Marathon.
I think something that's amazing is a lot of people who come from inland states have never seen the ocean before. So they're getting to come and experience an entire new ecosystem and world that they could only imagine or have only seen on TV or in picture books before.
Now imagine these same people cozying up to eels or feeding stingrays.
You're getting to have all of these fish and ecosystems all around you and touching you. You get to pet our stingrays, which is just something that's so, I'm at a loss for words on it.
Until you see the fish in your face and really see what they're like in person, it's a totally different experience.
And the animal that most people want to experience? Sharks, of course.
We have a nurse shark in there named Swayze. He's very, very big, brown with the whiskers, and he actually loves to be pet and scratched in the mornings.
When the dinner bell rings, guests feed these predators through an acrylic pane.
I think something that I've noticed about doing these encounters is so many people come in and they are scared of sharks. The first thing they say is, I'm really scared, I'm really nervous, I don't know how I feel about feeding all of these sharks. And the reactions that you get after they have fed the sharks is just mind-boggling.
And if inspired, volunteers are always welcome.
We do have volunteers here. You're more than welcome to sign up for our volunteer program to see how you can get really hands-on and take that next step in helping make a difference.
Jessica and the aquarium team hope that once guests leave, impressions will be lasting.
Seeing the fish in real life would make you want to be a better steward of the environment. You realize what, no, it's going to disappear if people don't start taking care of.
Over in Big Pine Key, there's a special group of young volunteers making a huge difference. The organization, Dive Into Life, teaches them how to grow and plant corals while reinforcing positive change and environmental responsibility. You're actually watching a sort of surgery being performed in Big Pine Key. It's called microfragmentation, and it's being performed on corals.
So we started learning the technologies 20 years ago that now are being refined and advanced. So we're kind of the leader in coral restoration production, aquaculture of corals for restoration. Everybody knows about tree reforestation. This is now underwater reforestation.
So you're cutting them up into little pieces, and they got all stressed out for a little bit, but it causes them to grow exponentially quicker.
Just as a cut causes your skin to grow back quickly, the same happens to corals when they're cut.
And we actually theorize that it might have evolved from parrotfish bites. A parrotfish will take a small chunk out of a coral to eat it. And it's in the benefit of that coral to heal back very rapidly and grow back together.
Coral fragmentation takes precision, patience, and practice under the watchful eye of Dr. Kama Cannon. These intelligent and passionate volunteers are leaving their mark.
This is place-based learning. It's authentic, it's applied science, and they're becoming restorationists as they restore the coral reef.
I've always been a fan of trying to teach younger generations, and so for me, that's what makes the experience so rewarding.
And as the fragmentation continues, other volunteers are tending to the babies and keeping them clean.
So a lot of what's important to do on the daily basis to keep these corals alive and healthy is to clean out those tanks, because if there's algae growing, it becomes harder for them to grow into bigger corals, which is what we want.
Once the time comes, what better place to plant these fledgling corals than Big Pine Key? Known for its gorgeous scenery and outstanding water sports, this is where Dive Into Life volunteers have gathered.
They will actually get outplanted here in the Florida Keys and hopefully start to rebuild what we've lost with disease and bleaching and hurricanes and all that.
We have one student who went on to medical school, business school, and now she's going to be with NASA, and she's studying to be a physician in space.
From space exploration to helping save the planet, these young citizen scientists aim high. Interested in helping dive into life or taking the plunge at the Florida Keys Aquarium Encounters? We'll give you the information at the end of the program. The water off Key West is spectacular. Thousands of divers and snorkelers who flock to the Keys each year head to the southernmost tip of the U.S. to experience its underwater beauty. But with its popularity comes risk. Just off Key West's coast lies an amazing underwater odyssey. An abundance of sea life attracts divers and snorkelers hoping to commune with nature. But in their excitement, divers can endanger fragile corals.
They do. And they do it mostly inadvertently because they don't know. They haven't been taught. And so it's learning to become a better diver, to be a better steward of the reef. Snorkelers too. We've watched people stand on the coral. You know, it's shallow enough in some places that you can stand on it. That doesn't help the coral any. And so the idea is to try to teach people that no, you can't do this.
In fact, standing on these fragile structures interferes with their ability to feed. Enter Blue Star, a program designed to teach divers and snorkelers how to behave in the water. You might call it ocean etiquette.
From a personal standpoint, it's important because we teach people about the reef. Our job is to teach you the conservation and preservation of the coral reef structure.
And it begins with dive operators.
Not every operator who runs trips out to the reef, whether they be fishing or snorkeling or diving, is a Blue Star operator. You have to apply, and then you have to have your whole staff get trained.
We are part of the Blue Star program, so if you guys see here, we're going to be part
Slifka says that up to 70% of Keys operators are certified Blue Star operators. Their mission? Teach those heading to the water how to care for the beauty around them. It all starts before they even take the plunge.
It's a special preservation area, so please, super important to make sure we protect our corals. Keep everything off the bottom, everything off the reef.
So we have about a 10-minute spiel on our boats that we talk about what you can touch, what you can't touch, what you're not supposed to do, what you can do, how we're trying to protect the reefs.
So being a good steward of the water, what you'll find with our briefings and we're talking about is we're looking to make sure that our divers are well educated in being good stewards and being conscious of fin placement, where they're at in the water column.
Easier said than done, considering fins are about 2 feet long, but operators like Chris and Frank are committed.
It's important for our future generations. We're looking to conserve coral, which has had a lot of pressure put on it over the years, not just from tourism, but from environmental factors as well. And we want to do everything we can to keep our coral as healthy as possible.
And I think all of us want to be protective of the reef, and I think Blue Star gives us that opportunity to pass that word to the average person, to that person from Iowa, how important the reef structure is to them, even though they may never see the ocean again in their life. That gives us that opportunity to pass that word around.
The waters in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary are worth protecting. Snappers, groupers, sharks, countless other varieties of fish, and the corals attracting them need care. To find out more about how you can help, visit our website. I'm Jennifer Gray. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Destination Dive.